It's been quite strategic in shaping institutions, ideas, public discourse to really foster like a responsiveness to the gospel across society. So we'd often talk about how making disciples, it doesn't happen in a vacuum. The culture, the institutions, they all shape what we believe, how we live, whether we're open to Jesus. So we need voices shaping these areas. And in terms of what those sorts of places are, so I think looking at institutions that politic. So all of these big decisions being made,
Okay.
having Christians at the heart of them. Education reform as well. So we look at how most kids would encounter Christianity would be through the religious studies curriculum. And if we can have Christian voices shaping that, portraying Jesus in a biblical light rather
Mm.
than, another light, then that's really important. Reforming the legal side of things. In media as well, you can influence so many people's perspectives. Actually, tech and AI, we look at OpenAI, and they've got enormous influence over so many people's beliefs at the moment through the ChatGPT models they're putting out. We need Christians shaping these properly. There's all sorts of areas, and those are the more institutional side. Then there's the shaping society's view of Christ, which this could be thought leadership through going into think tanks, doing really applied research of perhaps how Christianity might be impacting the UK or why churches are so important for the economy. These sorts of things might then shape the actual view of society of Christ. And then your cultural influence. So this could be through being a social media influencer, through film, through songs, through blog. You're doing your podcast is exactly an example of this. Through become a writer, as a public speaker. I look particularly to John Lennox, and he's a
Hmm.
mathematician, really quite famous for debating lots of atheists, and he's an Oxford professor, and he can use his platform as that to talk about Christianity. So yeah, it's all those sorts of areas, and I think there's many more as well. But yeah, if any, that you've got quite an outsized influence on people, ideas, and institutions.
Awesome. That's really helpful. And I guess looking at kind of career choice more holistically, what would you say are the biggest misconceptions that Christians may have about choosing their careers?
Biggest misconceptions. Yeah, I think lots of them it's not not being very intentional. I think not realizing that their careers can make disciples. I think there's a misconception that because in any career we should work as for the Lord,
Mhm.
which very much is true and biblical, that it then doesn't matter what career we go into. And I think that
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
wrong. Jesus really cares about what careers we go into. So, yeah, definitely misconceptions on the fact that our careers can make him disciples and that Jesus cares about which ones we go into.
Okay. That's actually, yeah, that's really insightful. I really like how that general career choice framework means that there's something for everyone. And actually just echoed, it doesn't mean that we don't care about careers, which means being more intentional about it. So that's definitely very useful. I guess going on to the third aspect, which is radical generosity. I know we spoke about it a little bit, but do you mind explaining what it actually means to be radically generous in a Christian sense?
Yeah, I think it's giving it sacrificial and it's shocking. So
Mm.
I'd look to perhaps the widow and her coin, and she gave all that she had, and I think that's what it means to be radically generous. We look at the Macedonian church as well. So they
Hmm.
were out of in extreme poverty, and so 2 Corinthians 8, I think it says, yeah, here, in the midst of a very severe trial, their overflowing joy and their extreme poverty welled up in rich generosity. For I testify they gave as much as they were able and even beyond their ability. So this is some seriously radical generosity. There's other examples, I think, of generosity which is less radical, less sacrificial, less shocking. This isn't about giving your 10% tithe. Well, it could be for some, but for many it might mean going significantly beyond that. If you're an investment banker, maybe it's not giving 10%, but keeping 10%. So it and it's important because I think this reflects actually God's radical generosity to us. He gave everything up for us. He gave his son and he died on the cross. And if we reflect what Jesus gave up for us, then yeah, giving our financial resources, all that we've got, is nothing really compared to that. And we're told, I think, by Jesus to give up everything for him. So it's a core part of what it means to be a disciple is to give, to give all that we have to him. And I don't think this always means I don't think this often means actually that we give all of our money. I think it means we're very sacrificial in it, that God gives us money to steward, to share, to enjoy, to buy things that we can share with others and build God's kingdom.